For those that don't know me in the room, my name is Grant Malone, and I am the current president of the Rochester Building and Construction Trades Council. We represent over 10,000 highly skilled construction workers in Monroe County and surrounding counties. My intent tonight here is probably to educate the board, anybody else in the room, of a little bit of history here in Rochester in the construction industry. I see number 4 on your agenda tonight is about the Coca-Cola Fairlife project. We're well aware of that project. I'd like to give you a little history on what's happened here in our area over the last 3 years with projects of this magnitude. We've seen over $1 billion of economic development come to this area, and we've experienced out-of-state contractors performing the work, out-of-state workers performing the work, without an opportunity to let local people that live in our community that we represent do the work. And that's all we're asking for. We're asking for an opportunity to sit down with Fairlife and talk about an agreement which also offers apprenticeship opportunities, local labor provisions, and diversification. Again, the last 3 years we've experienced here, the 2 projects that we've experienced has had minimal exposure to those, and that's not fair to the Rochester community and to the taxpayers. So again, I know I have a meeting with Tom tomorrow, I believe, as far as a phone call, to discuss it in detail. But I have reached out myself to Fairlife to a sit-down, and still are waiting for that opportunity. It's frustrating. Again, we're looking for an opportunity to put people in Rochester to work. If you want to retain New York State residents, you've got to give them an opportunity to earn a living and provide for their family. And what we've seen in the last 3 years, that's not happening. It's not right, it's not fair. All we're looking for is an opportunity to sit down and negotiate an agreement so we can perform the work with local labor. And when I say that, if we can't meet the requirements, we're good with it. We just want the opportunity to get there, and we haven't had that yet. Let's talk about apprenticeship for the people that have children and grandchildren looking for work. What an opportunity. There's apprenticeship programs that all 15 trades that we represent have registered apprenticeship programs, and they're looking for people to become trades, men and women. Great opportunity. Without something in writing with these big developers that come from out of state and out of our country, we don't get that opportunity. That's not fair. We're asking them just to be fair with us, give us an opportunity to perform the work, and if we can't meet the demands, we're going to let somebody else come in town. We haven't got that yet. So again, this is more of an educational for the board members who don't understand what we stand for. Diversification. We all know what that is today. Without something in writing with these major developers, there's minimal diversification on these construction projects. And that's not fair either to the people that need an opportunity to lift their lives up out of poverty. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I had to say. I'm open to any questions, please. Anybody want to ask questions about what's happened in the past? I'm here to answer them.
And Grant, I'll tell you what, usually for the 5-minute portion, we don't ask questions, but I got to tell you, I got 2 questions.
Go right ahead. That's what I'm here for.
Project.
Yep.
My first question, and I'm a pretty organized guy, I'm looking, we have a meeting tomorrow, you and I?
Yeah. Well, I believe that somebody from your office, and I believe it was a Susan, emailed me through Senator Broke's office that you and I are supposed to have a Zoom call tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
I'm on a Zoom call with Senator Broke.
Well, then maybe I'm going to be in on that phone call.
Now I understand.
Perfect. Then it was worth me coming out tonight to clarify that.
Grant, Patty, because you're on that Zoom.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I know I'm starting to lose my memory. Like, I don't recall a meeting with Grant Malone tomorrow. Okay, we said, great.
And we're looking for your support.
That's the easy one. And,
okay.
Well, and what you asked, I mean, I'm going to say from just a humanistic standpoint and a citizen, not on this board.
Yep.
It's a reasonable request.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm an upstate New York guy. Now, let me ask, the second question is, what are the 2 projects that in the last 5 years are the billions of dollars of projects?
If you really want to know, there were 2 major projects here, and let me start off by saying, we're all for economic development because of what we do for a living and for the community and for the tax bases. But you can't have economic development without workforce development. And we're lacking that second part, is workforce development, which is an opportunity to put people to work. Answer to your question, Tom, the first project was the Amazon project that was out in Gates. And the second one is the ongoing project, which is in the old Eastman Kodak, which is Lycycle. Those are the two that I'm referring to right now.
You know, the old statement, if you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah?
I assumed those were the two, but I wanted
Nope.
to make sure.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm interested to hear more about this tomorrow.
Yeah?
Because obviously the fact pattern on what transpired with Amazon and Lycycle, my guess is it's very different from what is going to be the fact pattern on Coca-Cola Fairlife. But I don't know that for certain. It'll be interesting to see. I'm very interested in
And that's a great point, Tom, and neither do we. And that's why it's frustrating where we are, when I reached out to every elected official that we support to get a meeting with somebody, with Fairlife and or Coca-Cola, and we're coming up short.
Well,
and that's frustrating.
And I will say that being fair to Coca-Cola and Fairlife, it's been 2.5 months since they made the press release announcement on a huge project here. And they, in 2.5 months, and everything's relative, I think they have been up here for community engagement, both with the neighbors that live around there, but also with the community as a whole. As we discussed before the meeting, they're up here next week with more community engagement, and they have a meeting next Thursday with contractors and your people, I think between 9 and 11 next Thursday. So, being fair to them, they aren't totally turtle shelling and not making themselves available. They may not be doing it in the time frames that you're wishing for, but I've been somewhat comfortable that they have made themselves available. I know that they're pretty focused on the process right now with our zoning board, planning board, and the seeker process, which I would have to defer to our town attorney, is quite an ordeal, is it not, Charlie? So that I think is where their focus is. As you know from these projects, I think once they come out of that, and that timetable is somewhere in the September range, I'm interested also to know how are you building a $650 million plant? Is $100 million of that real estate that you need contractors to build the house, so to speak, and $500 million is specialty machinery that you get, that's specialty machinery, it's like furniture and fixtures. We don't know. And really, to tell you the truth, at this point in the process, I don't think we need to know, but they're going to have to, as this goes along, make it known. And I would like to think next Thursday will also be a pretty good milestone for you when you talk to us.
Okay, let me start off, if you don't mind, Tom, to answer your questions in our perspective. The longer we wait, we got to get ahead of this project. I played this game with Amazon and Lycycle, and we lost it. That's why we're trying to get ahead of this now.
Totally understand.
Okay, that's one of the reasons that we're here tonight. Okay, and I appreciate the meeting next week. But the details that myself and our Unicon director, Joe Mero Jr. needs to talk to is about the details about what you just said. We don't need a big venue for that, to be honest with you. Okay, and all I'm asking for is an hour or two of their time. When you're going to come to the Rochester area and build a project of this magnitude, you should be talking to the Rochester Building Trades Council.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you educated me tonight that I have a meeting with, and it wasn't the easiest one to get from Senator Brooke. So the fact that you have Senator Brooks here, you've done a pretty good job up to this point, Grant, and I appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity. And to Tom's point, the meeting is the 27th at the Wilkin Middle School at 9 a.m. Anybody is welcome to come support the project. We're hope to see you there. We're hoping to work with everybody here in the future. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for coming, gang.
I have a question for you.
Go right ahead.
Who's doing the reconstruction of the Thruway Authority rest stops?
Okay, that's a great question. That project is being construction managed by LaChase Construction.
Okay.
In conjunction with a downstate entity, and I'm drawing a blank, and because I apologize, but it's a joint venture between LaChase and it's a downstate entity. They kind of split the project up in half, and the downstate took half of it, and then LaChase took from Syracuse to Buffalo.
Okay.
I know there's been a lot of issues on that project. I'm not surprised. I'm in the middle of that one also.
Okay.
Again, for the same reasons, and we want a man to work over there.
Yeah, and I've lost control. I got to tell you, all in 2.5 minutes. But my friend, do you know that nobody can see you on the screen? The cameras don't point to you, and they can't hear what your question was. You've been a frequent flyer here. we can't pop questions from the crowd,
Oh, but he
they won't even, so.
said-
But thank you, Grant.
Thank
And we're
you.
gonna get you up on the podium one of these days.
I'm doing some research. I'll be-
Okay, all right.
Thanks again, and I'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you tomorrow, Tom. Thank you.
You got it.